So when I chew on a mint and get it stuck in my teeth, um, we know JF is not genuine or shows signs in body language as not being genuine. He still might be innocent. But again, why would you paint yourself in such a weird light and then complain about others as trolls? There's fuel to the fire. There's no need to pour more on the fire by saying, send me these girls and things will get weird. You don't say things like that if you're in that situation, or you shouldn't really. I don't think you should have some damage control, public relations damage control. Pally was Pally with Jeffrey Epstein. We have that, which raises suspicions. Interaction with Sargon Akkad, Benjamin actually. What was his real name's Benjamin, who makes rape jokes. Rape is not a joke. You can't joke about it. I mean, it's disgusting with his social circles. He's a white supremacist. So all of this adds fuel to the fire, and he sits there and goes, "Send me these girls. Things get weird." And we've seen how he doesn't make eye contact or he doesn't look at the camera too much. We've seen a lack of body language. I don't think he's that open in his body language. But it's like trying to get blood out of a stone, though. Very difficult. But I don't know. People talk to you and then look down. It's a sign you should be suspect, particularly if they're making a statement as if it's some kind of fact or whatever. Whereas Andrew Wilson makes eye contact with. At least he's looking forward more than he's. Every frame I pause, I don't think Andrew was ever looking down. JF a lot. And here we go. Watch and listen. Listen carefully. And while you're watching, see what is in line with what you're listening. And watch JF.
I have so much invested.
Let me put my headphones on. This whole room needs a good blast tidying up. I just found out I need to open up the shop tomorrow. I went in just in case that changed. It wasn't normal. It wasn't meant to be, but yeah, priorities and all this. It's all good though, and it's extra money for me. Yeah, as where I work, open shop.
And fighting about this and the lead up to kind of the drop off, and was there kind of contention about this? Obviously you didn't think it was a good idea.
Yeah, no, where commune of hippies could be gathering and living together. Uh, it's hard to present as a plan, but that is the mind of Mama JF, which I respect. So, yeah, all these things. She was dreaming of a wild life and a crazy life.
And I'm going to ask this one too, and of course you can brush it away or tell me it's off limits or whatever. Were you guys feuding and fighting about this in the lead up to?
As soon as he asks that question, he's looking down. Not being, and again, his body language is never. Is very briefly, we saw some open gestures. Bad sign. He's more or less a closed off, shrug forward. It seems like I don't know the actual build of JF much, but to me it looks like he's leaning forward. As soon as the question's asked, yeah, he is looking down again. It's not a good sign. And he's looking to his left and down as inner self-talk, like maybe I should this, maybe I should that, or how do I do? No, it's self-talk. Yeah, it's usually not always so, but usually that a bit of negative self-talk that we have sometimes.
Kind of the drop off, and was there kind of contention about this? Obviously, you didn't think it was a good idea.
Yeah, no, I don't fight because I'm a libertarian, and
Yeah. He briefly looks up after that, and then I don't fight because I'm a libertarian. Everyone, you don't just lay, unless they're completely useless. You don't just lay down and take anything at all. That's not being liberal. That's just being like a doormat, right? Yeah? And you know, one way or the other, you just if your partner says no, I'm going to do this, and you don't like it, then you need a communication together and make a improvise or whatever. But so I don't know what being a libertarian or not is pointless, irrelevant.
I have so much invested in preserving my good relationship with Mama JF rather than be conflictual about it, that it's not in my interest to fight or to pressure or to make her feel comfortable. So what she always had.
But again, all this looking down to make her feel comfortable, yada yada. I don't find it genuine. And I think we established that. I don't need to keep repeating myself, but much further down the line, if there's ever interviews, maybe I'll look at that. I will look at Cheshire Vic's whole thing sometime when I have time and energy, because yeah, I gotta, like I said, I gotta open up shop tomorrow. Run the shop with
From
some.
me was saying, I oppose to this. It's bad. You will expose yourself to all sorts of risks.
Maybe that did go on. Maybe that's was so shut off with this, but it's difficult to don't get me wrong, I still think he's a bag of shit. He's a white supremacist for fuck's sake. You know, there's yeah. You're in the Mariana Trench, you know, you're low when you come up with this bullshit. You're disgusting, and there's a number of other things associated in his past that I've just been looking through, which again keeps painting this guy as a very disgusting individual. How much of it is true, I don't know, but here's the problem though: he doesn't douse the fire. He keeps putting fuel on the fire with many things. Yeah, but that's okay because he's liberal. Yeah, don't know.
You know, you could get raped, you could get killed, anything could happen to you.
He
But
says all.
if you want it to happen that way,
Oh, shut up! There we go. Every time, every time he says all these things, like, well, you could get raped, did this and that. He says it all without any brow emotion in his brow at all. The whole thing. I mean, once there was one bit where his eyebrows raised a little bit in from what Andrew said. He said, "Oh, people, I forget what Andrew said. People might be thinking you did this and that," and his eyebrows raised because maybe he didn't expect Andrew to be repeating any of the conspiracies or whatever that go around with this. I use conspiracy loosely because I don't mean to use the word conspiracy as if it's not true. I don't mean to use the word conspiracy as if it is true either. But there are a lot of paranoid conspiracy theorists that use the internet. Some can be onto something a little bit, but again, JF doesn't do anything to douse the fire. So it becomes
I
chaotic.
fully respect this, and I'll drop you at the safest place I can.
So I'll drop you at the safest place I can. Looks down to his left. I don't think he believes it was the safest place. If I was interviewing him, I wouldn't want to. I feel like I'd have to go and have a shower. Again, he's a white supremacist. But, I would probably want to ask in some other fictional world then, if I was interviewing him, I'd probably want to ask, do you feel like you dropped them at the safest place, and then see what the body language is with that, especially after he keeps doing this in context with the image of where she was dropped off, or talking about the safest place, and so on. So I don't know.
Has this caused you a significant amount of emotional distress? I mean, after all, this was going on for months before you were ever able to even come out into the public.
He doesn't look emotionally stressed, but he looks like he's trying to hide something.
With it, and he may not have, right? If this hadn't turned into a missing persons case and this type of thing, has this really caused you a lot of emotional distress?
Yes, certainly.
He says yes with just a very plain expression. Yeah. It's not even a, oh yeah, eyebrow raise, a good point. There's no eyebrow raise to say. I don't, whatever goes on in his brain, I don't think there's much emotion. There's calculation and coldness, and his traits of sociopathy, if you look at that. But whether I don't know enough about that to diagnose, but it goes into that category, I think, because it's so no emotion, and it is, as other than that, yeah, he's just laughing off things that he's done. I don't see somebody. It doesn't look like somebody who's emotionally distressed. They keep looking like somebody who's trying to hide something. Because of the lack of expression, actually, the lack of open body language, and the eye rubs right on cue about Mama JF being dropped, or where she's gone, and so on, being dropped at this place.
Certainly, I mean, it's normal for someone who doesn't know where their partner is. It's normal to be nervous, and
Normal to be nervous. But then, it's difficult because he's telling us like this was like really agreed with anyway. So he's not expecting her, if there's any truth to that, he's not expecting her to be in danger. This is very strange. But then, he's a strange man. Yeah. I tell you, if things get weird, you get send him, look at these girls. I'll talk a bit about his history. I think I'm done reading the body language so far, unless something else comes up, because I don't feel like I can extract much more from it that goes anywhere. There's bits here and there, but it's still each bit really equates to. They might be different body language cues, but they just equate to him not being genuine all over again. And I think we know this approaching halfway through the video, and it's established now. I've gone through looking at, his hand gestures, if they do come out, they're very brief and they're straight down again. Remember, that's what Dr. Witnesser did, because clearly he's got an agenda and things to hide, and he's dumb enough to think people can't see through it, and when they do, There's a lot of mental gymnastics to try and claim that his opposition is just plain wrong. JF is more intelligent than that, but I think, but at the same time, I don't like the guy because what he represents. Anti-Semitic. Go and look up some of the history of this guy. And very support for the superiority of white supremacist genetic superiority, whatever it is. Okay, there's a pause a frame. I can see hands either side. What's that at? 52:19. My internet just broke, I think, a little bit, but internet just had a brain fart.
And again, it kind of rings the alarm bells a little bit if they're
Not let the machines take over.
and I mean, I guess we've kind of covered it. There's not that too much more to cover on this, in fact, because there's just so little actual information. I guess if there was one more thing that would kind of satiate my curiosity, it's still kind of
I think he's a good interviewer. This Andrew guy, pretty cool. I mean, I don't know too much about him. It's just seeing this one video.
Is this rotating question?
But his body, JS body language, I'm skipping through frame by frame, a number of frames, and it's the same all along. I'm just trying to see anywhere that there was that one frame just now, and it's very brief when he's open. When you're open, like you're exposing your torso. Body language is very, of course, it's physical as an obvious thing, physical, but it's physical in a mental thing as well. Movement is associated with where you want to go, and we were nomadic coming out of the caves, and we there's a lot of neural connectivity with our brains that our brains got large already. If you look at this, you would look at the. I was just YouTubing the different films and things. I was bored, but yeah. I transition and explain myself a bit with that. In body language, we. All right, just one sec. There we go. Fill in the border. So it's a large percentage of our brain is for movement alone. Neural connectivity of movement is fired even when we just think about moving, but we're not moving. Or we're extremely dexterous as well. So it stands the reason why communication in positions of your body was really the first language, and symbolism and archetypal sort of things after generations that sit in our subconscious, if you are, like influenced by culture. I don't want to sound too space out there for you, but symbolism is in this, and there's a lot of symbolism that shows symbols of movement as well, like your bows and arrows, or engravings, or carvings, or paintings as well, on caveman paintings on the inside of a cave, and all of these things include a lot of movement. Images of stealth, trying to creep around, all this. So a massive amount of neural connectivity is movement, and is why it's a very powerful thing. Language And when you're huddled up like this, when we try to make ourselves smaller, we don't want to be seen. If we don't want to be seen, you try to make yourself smaller. I wonder if our evolution, because apparently we keep going back, we did come from like a rat-like creature apparently, which evolved more like a tree climbing, became a primate, and so on. What was it before it was that? Not sure, but it doesn't make sense to me about when we feel embarrassed. We think, just briefly thinking about disappearing, you make yourself smaller. If you grew up and part of your growing up was going through a really shy stage, and a lot of people do, if you ever blushed and got no control on it, you feel like you want to disappear, but you're standing out like a sore thumb because you're flushed redder than anyone else around you. But, certain triggers of camouflage are triggered by flushes of blood flow to the surface in certain animals, which opens up certain color things just underneath the skin, and you end up blending with your background and all this. I don't want to be sounding like a conspirator on that. We're going, there's reptiles amongst us, the reptilians and all this, or chameleons. I don't want to. I'm not going that way, but you could see what was that? What is it for? Blushing, because it seems to contradict anything that it might be for. It should be for hiding. But you feel like, I need to go find a red background or the shade of red I just turned, if you feel really embarrassed about something, right? But we do sort of shrink ourselves down when we don't want to cooperate, or even though he's coming across confident, there's insecurities here, and the looking down it definitely is. It's not genuine with his interviewer, as he's being the interviewee. This is all I can grab from this. I think this is probably all I can get from this, unless I look at other videos. But the things he's said in the past, the things he said in that video, you just, and it creeps me out. And again, why would you feed more fuel to the fire? To him, it's just normal, I think, to say things. Send me these girls, and things are going to get weird. It might say something about his lifestyle. It sounds like something that Andrew Tate would come out with, right? Send me these girls. Things are going to get weird. So I don't know what else to say on it, other than, yeah, this guy's creepy, I think, in my personal opinion, and probably many others. Phone's going. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.